Hi everybody, this is just something that I wanted to go over with you since you have watched a couple introduction videos about quadrilaterals and identifying them, but this is just something that I would call a cheat sheet for you. And last year when I said the word cheat sheet, it confused a couple of my students and they're like, I don't want to cheat. And I guess me calling it a cheat sheet was just not the best thing for them to say because it doesn't mean you're cheating. It just means that this is a piece of paper that gives you many resources to look at and clues to help you go back and just understand things. So this, at the top right here, it says quadrilateral helpful hints. Perfect. Now, let's just go over what each box says. So a quadrilateral is, let me make this. A quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. So, a square is an example of a quadrilateral. It has four equal sides. Opposite sides are parallel. So what that means is that this side and this side, if these two lines were to keep going on forever and ever, they would never, ever touch each other. That means they're parallel. Now, what that also means is that this side right here and this side right here, if those lines were to keep going on forever and ever, they would never touch each other. They would never intersect or they would never cross each other. So that means that they are parallel. Think of parallel lines like train tracks. The two lines on the end of the train tracks will never, ever touch each other. Then, the next thing that it tells us is that there are four 90-degree angles. So I don't know if you remember what a 90-degree angle is, but it's like this. It's 90 degrees and it makes an L. There we go. And often we use this box right here to show that it's 90 degrees or that it's a right angle. Okay, let's move on to a rectangle because a rectangle is also a kind of quadrilateral because a rectangle has four sides. Okay, so for a rectangle, let me change my color again. Okay, a rectangle, two equal parallel long sides. So what they mean by the long sides are going to be right here and right here. They said that they're equal. So that means that this line right here, this line and this line are the exact same length. They are equal in length and two equal parallel short sides. So we already highlighted the long sides. Now let's highlight the short sides that are also equal. So this blue line and this blue line, they are opposite because they are on opposite sides. And they are parallel, meaning that they'll never, ever touch each other. This blue line and this blue line will never, ever touch. And each angle is a 90-degree angle. So I kind of covered them up by my drawing, but there's a box here, and a box here, just to show that they are right angles. So I'll show you. Here's one of the boxes, and there are all four boxes. So the rectangle is a four-sided shape. It has two equal parallel long sides, meaning here and here. And it also has two equal short sides, right here and right here. Great. Next, let's move along to the trapezoid. I always used to get these confused, and I'll admit I even still have to look at this sheet to remind me the difference between a trapezoid and a rhombus. I just get them mixed up. That's my brain. So the trapezoid is just a little different. It's still a four-sided shape, so that makes it a quadrilateral because it has four sides. Remember from one of the videos I posted, quad means four. So you know that all of these shapes have four sides. So with the trapezoid, it only has one pair of parallel sides. So let's think. Remember, if they're parallel, it's like a train track. The two lines are never going to cross. They're never going to touch each other. They're just going to stay parallel the whole time. So the trapezoid only has one pair of parallel sides. So if this line were to keep going, and this line were to keep going, eventually those two lines are going to meet in the middle somewhere. So that means they are not parallel. But if this line right here went on forever, and this line went on forever, they would never ever touch each other. So I'm going to make these two lines to show you that they're parallel. If you do this, this shows that they are parallel. So unfortunately, this line and this line, they are not parallel. So that's where this comes in. One pair of non-parallel sides. And the same with the second trapezoid listed. I'm going to use my green again. So this line right here and this line, they're crooked. They're not straight. So if they continued on, they would eventually cross. They would eventually touch each other. I'm just going to make this drawing so you would see. Oh, right there. So they intersected right there. That means that they're not parallel. If they eventually touch, they are not parallel. But our line on the top and the bottom, I believe it is parallel. Here's one and here's two. If these lines went on forever and ever, they would never, ever, ever cross or ever touch. So that's what it means right here. One pair of parallel sides, one pair of non-parallel sides. So remember, if they're parallel, we could make these little marks right here just to show us that they are parallel. They are never going to touch. Moving on to the parallelogram. So the word parallelogram has the word parallel in it. So the qualities or a helpful hint for a parallelogram is that there are two pairs of parallel sides and it looks like a leaning rectangle. So I can kind of see what they mean by there. It looks like it's been pushed just a little bit on one side and it's leaning. So it says that there are two pairs of parallel sides. So let's find those. Remember, parallel lines are going to be across from each other. So right here, that one and this one, they're opposites, but they're parallel. If those two lines keep going on forever and ever, they will never touch each other. They're always going to just keep going down the same path, just like a train track. Remember, picture a train going right through here. Your lines are never going to touch. Now we figured out that that was one side of parallel lines, but let's find the other pair of parallel lines. And remember, there are these little lines right here to show us that these are parallel. Well, we only have two sides left, so let's hope that they are parallel. There's one, and there's two. So these lines would also never, ever touch if they went on forever. And here are these marks to show that they are also parallel. So right here, we notice that there are two sets of lines to mark parallel, but here we only mark one because we already used two. So we're just showing that they are both pairs of parallel sides, but they're just different. Next is the rhombus. So I'm not going to lie to you, I just get these confused sometimes, but that's okay. Because I'm still learning, I'll be learning my whole entire life. So a rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 equal sides. Something else about a rhombus is that it has no 90-degree angles. So let's look. Parallelogram with 4 equal sides. So that means that this is the same length as this, which is the same length as this, and as that. Perfect. So another thing that it's saying is that all the sides are parallel. This line will never ever intersect with this line. So here's that. Shows that they're equal. And it shows that this line will never ever intersect with this line. Okay. Perfect. So a rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 equal sides. That word equal, 4 equal sides, that can help us remember a rhombus. Lastly is a kite. So a kite has 2 pairs of equal sides and it has no parallel lines. So that's something different. We haven't dealt with any that have no parallel lines so far. So a kite, we can all picture a kite. Hopefully you have flown a kite sometime, and it can be frustrating, but flying a kite is actually pretty cool. But just picture a kite in your head right now, and it looks like a diamond, kind of. It kind of even looks like a rhombus, but it's a little different. So a kite has two pairs of equal sides. So two pairs of sides that are equal. So let's find our first pair, which would be here and here. You know, a pair means two, like a pair of shoes. So we know that there's going to be two equal sides. Then let's use orange to look at our second pair of equal sides. Here's this. So these two orange lines are the exact same length. These two yellow lines are the exact same length. And that is something to know about a kite. It also has no parallel lines. So these lines would definitely intersect with each other, and that makes them not parallel. So I hope that this little cheat sheet or helpful hints of the quadrilaterals has helped you see each shape and what it means when we talk about the properties or characteristics of each quadrilateral.